Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 160. I always forget to check this. 163 of the Loch Briar Knits podcast. I am Kelly, your hostess, and I'm coming to you from my living room in Nova Scotia, Canada. And it is a very sunny, relatively warm for May in Nova Scotia day. And I have a few things to, oh, you know what? I just realized. Hold that thought. Okay. So I have a finished object and almost finished object, two kind of getting there objects, and a new cast on. So first off, a little bit of a tale of woe. Not knitting related, but not knitting. So I had set up, if any of you guys watched the first episode of the Project Diaries, I had mentioned that the next project diary was going to be the Terrazzo sweater by Petite Knits. I filmed everything from start to finish. And somewhere along the way, I managed to delete all of the files. I don't know how I did this because I'm actually pretty careful. I had everything in like its own folder. I don't know what happened. I kind of have 3 folders for Loch Briar Knits, but then I also have 3 folders for my other YouTube channel, Writers Talking. But they're in separate folders again, so I don't know what I did, but I deleted everything except for like the last 3 installments, which was just talking about the finished object. So I thought, well, that's stupid. So I'll just bring it on the episode and talk about it there. Here's my finished object. This, if I can get it back here, is the Terrazzo sweater. And I will try it on at the end of filming here just so I don't have to deal with the microphone and do a little sachet, runway sachet. Here it is. I love it. Look at the yarn was beautiful. It was an easy knit. I did mess up in the beginning when I got to, I think it was like right about here when I was starting to do the raglan increases. I'm not sure exactly what I did. I think I must have somehow miscounted like misread something, and then that resulted in my stitch count being way under in one section, but just one section, and there was like 4 sections. So I don't know exactly what I did, but I had to back it out right to, I think I backed it all the way back to like where I'd finished the ribbing for the neck. Now the neck is a folded down neck, which I love. Any of you have been with me for any amount of time, you know I love like sweaters that are up around my neck. It fits perfect. The sleeves fit perfect. They're the perfect length. The only thing I would do different is it called for an Italian bind off on everywhere. So the first thing I bound off was here. And my understanding was that the Italian bind off was supposed to have a bit of a stretch to it. So I thought, that's fine, I'll give it a try. I hated it. I hated doing it. And actually, it doesn't really have much give at all. Luckily, it fits fine, like at over my waist. The yarn was why do I want to keep calling it Sweet Valley High? Why? And you know what? I didn't bring the thing, but I'll put the name of the yarn down below. And I mixed it with Knit Picks Alpaca lace in the Carson colorway, which is the black tones you see, and then the brown is the Sweet Valley High. this yarn is so incredibly soft. Like it's so gushy. It's a dream to wear. I love it. And I really wish I had knit this earlier in the season because now it's too warm for me to wear this and all I want to do is wear it. The other thing I did was my mom wanted me to show her how to do the crochet cast on for the Musselburgh hat. And the crochet cast on I learned from Nitty Natty, who did a little YouTube tutorial on it. Now, again, if any of you have been with me for any length of time, you have probably heard me bemoan my inability to crochet. I'm literally all thumbs with a crochet hook. It always goes badly, but I found the cast on for the Musselburgh hat in the pattern really fiddly. And the crochet cast on for me was not a lot easier. It usually takes me, I would say, about 10 times before I can get the things to stay where they need to and get set up that way. So but I still found that easier than the one in the pattern. So my mom wanted to make a Musselburgh hat because I had done some for Christmas gifts and she really loved them and she thought it would be like just a nice mindless knit to have on the go. So I showed her how to do it and I showed her the crochet cast on. Well, oh my God, if you could have heard us hooting and laughing at how bad we both were at that. And about after I got home from showing her, probably a few hours later, she was like, yeah, I just cast on 8 stitches the normal way and it looks fine. And I was like, why am I not doing that? So I cast on, this is Donut to Kill My Vibe. This is Deep Stash. This is from Amanda at, oh my God, why am I blanking on everything today? It like full on menopausal moment. Sweet Skein of mine. Jeez. Anyway, this was when she first started dyeing. This is like deep stash. I don't even think she does it anymore, and it breaks my heart that she doesn't. Amanda, if you're watching, you really need to bring this one back if you're not dyeing it anymore. I bought 2 skeins, and I didn't want to make socks out of it because I didn't want. Eventually, the socks are going to wear out, and I would just be heartbroken. So I thought I'm going to make a Musselburgh hat out of it. So I cast on. I'm going to see if I can do this without knocking all my stitches off. But I did a smaller needle size. I think normally I was using like a 3.5 or a 3.25 needle size. And I went down to 2.5, which I think is what it says in the pattern if you're using fingering weight. I don't know why I was using a larger needle. I have no idea. Anyway, as you can see, like it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Like it's completely closed up. So I am super happy. And that is how I will be doing my Musselburgh cast on going forward. But I'm almost at the point, actually I may be at the point now where I can start with a crown. I do want to have like I might go a little longer because I do want to have like a thicker fold up brim on this one. I need about that much for the top. So that would bring it to here, which would go like maybe like that. And then, yeah, no, I might do maybe another inch or 2 just to have like a nice fold up brim. Like I'd like the fold up brim maybe to be like at least like that. So this has been like just a really nice knit. But when I first cast it on, I cast it on as if, or I was knitting thinking I had the 3.25 needles, I think is what I normally used. And I didn't. I have 2.75. I thought, oh, I'm going to have to go bigger than I did before. So I did it wider and I got down, I knit about this much and I was like, it's too wide. It's too wide. It's going to be too big on my head because I have a small head. I literally went all the way back to the beginning And that's when I did the regular cast on, because I thought, I'm not fiddling with the crochet cast on again. I'm not doing it. I can't. So I just did the regular cast on. And the other thing I did wrong too, I noticed when I was taking it back, was I did the raglan, I call them raglan, the shaping, the head crown shaping. I did that wrong, and I realized when I was looking at it, I was like, I think I was putting it in the wrong place. So instead of kind of having I don't know how well that's going to show up, but it's like sort of like about as wide as my finger. It was half of that. I think I was doing the increase right at the marker, and I think you're supposed to do it one before the marker and then knit one. I think that's what I was doing wrong. And so it was just coming out too skinny. So anyway, I'm glad I did go back, and because this hat is for me, so I definitely didn't want to have to give it away to somebody with a bigger head. So, and it is an incredibly enjoyable knit, and the yarn, again, it is gorgeous. And I'm tempted to maybe, with the second skein of this I have, make like a one skein shawl or a cowl or something maybe to go with it. I don't know. Or just like, to go with whatever I want to wear it with. But this is lovely. I still have quite a bit left. So I think once that's done, I will make a couple of those little tiny sweaters that I make to hang on the Christmas tree out of it. The other thing, I've made some progress on the socks. Not a whole lot on, okay, this one I've made more progress on. This is the one out of Lichen and Lace, and it's called Marsh Lily. So I've turned for the foot, and I'm probably just maybe an inch and a bit away. Yeah, probably about an inch before I need to shape for the toe. And again, the yarn, I get so happy every time it comes around to like this green color here. I love that bright spring green pop of color. I absolutely love it. I don't know what it is about that color, but whenever I see it in a yarn that I'm knitting with, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The other thing is this one, which kind of got shoved down to the bottom because I got doing the other one. This is why I never have two socks on the go at the same time, because one always gets left behind, and then I'm like, I just need to finish a sock before I start another one. But this is the one that's going to be for my sister-in-law. That's made out of Kroy sock, something orchid, orchard, something, wild orchard, midnight orchard, and that's Patton's Kroy. So that's the socks that are on the go. Once I finished the Terrazzo sweater, I almost had a flash of what the yarn was, and then it ran away again. In my bag from the Loop that they gave me for my retirement, I cast on. Here's the thing. I was going back and forth trying to figure out what sweater I wanted to knit, and I wanted to keep with the plan for the Make 9, which was I had to use yarn and stash, and I had to use patterns that were purchased before the beginning of 2025. So I was looking at them, and nothing was just grabbing me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll do this one. I can't even remember which one. I think I just did. I went like a random thing. And I thought, okay, I'll do this one. And then I was going upstairs, and anybody that's been with me for a while, you may remember episode where I had put all of these projects in bags ready to start. And I had the yarn, the pattern, everything in the bag ready to go. And then I set it in my office upstairs, kind of next to the chair, thinking this would get me to do it. What happened was I forgot that they were there, even though I could see them. You go like blind to things after they've been there for a while. So I was kind of going back and forth, and there was one that I wanted to do, but I had to combine it in order to get, I don't have a lot of DK yarn, and a lot of the ones that I saw that I wanted to do needed DK yarn. And I could have blended it with a mohair, but I didn't want to. I don't want all of my sweaters to be blended with mohair. I want to, but again, at the same time, I don't have a lot of DK yarn for some reason. I have fingering, I have sport, I have worsted, I have mohair, I have alpaca. I do not have much in the way of sweaters quantity of yarn of DK. And I don't know why, because it's such a popular sweater like weight to do for sweaters. So I don't know. Anyway. So I thought, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see what sweater I have, because I knew I had a sweater in one of the bags that was like ready to go. And what it was my Fletchling by Jessica McDonald. And I was like, oh, you know what? I haven't done a colorwork sweater since my first colorwork sweater. I had the yarn in the bag ready to go. I did transfer it over to my new bag because I wanted to use my new bag. The yarn I'm using is Wool of the Andes. It's a sport weight, and it is the Dove Heather colorway. Is it right there? It's a nice light, kind of light to medium gray, I guess, maybe. And it's like, it just has some variation. I don't know how well that's going to show up, but you can kind of see it's a little variegated. I'm going to, for the color, I'm using Current, also by Wool of the Andes. So it's like kind of this lovely red color. So that's what's going to be for that. So the red's going to be the part going through here. And the colorwork pattern is incredibly simple. So I have cast it on, and I have the neck done. I think the neck's done. How much did I have to go? 1.5 inches. So maybe I might go a few more rounds. So yeah, so that's what I have so far. And I was tempted to do the twisted rib, but I always seem to do the twisted rib. And I thought, you know what, this time I'm just going to go and do the regular by one ribbing. And it did turn out nice and neat. So I am happy with that. So that is what I am working on sweater-wise now. And that is what I'm working on, period. That's what's been going on. I have noticed, my thought was when I retired that I would have so much more knitting time. I find I'm so busy that there are days when if I get half an hour of knitting time in, I'm lucky. And there have been a couple of days where I've literally had no time to knit. I'm like, what's going on? What am I doing? But I will say I've expanded my writing time from like about an hour and a half to 3 hours. So that's been great. And then I'm also doing a little bit of work on kind of reading up on different skill sets from a writing perspective. I'm also looking at the series I'm going to do next, which is going to be a contemporary that I had shelved. I had the idea like years ago, but I was in the middle of doing my Sins and Scandals series. So I didn't have time to dedicate to it. And then, after the Sins and Scandals series, I had burnout. And then when I started writing again, I did the spin-off series from Sins and Scandals. So now that I'm on the second book of that, it's only a 3-book series. I got smart this time, not a 9-book series. I think I'm going to do the contemporary. So I have never written a contemporary series. I used to write contemporary when I first started writing, but none of that was ever stuff that I published. When I started publishing, I had by that point already switched over to doing historical romance. So this one's going to be a contemporary romance. It's going to be a 3, probably 4 books. Anyway, so I've just been sort of doing some research and just sort of getting myself familiar with the contemporary market and things like that. So that's taking up some time. I'm going to the gym or doing a 45-minute walk every day on top of the dog walking that gets done first thing in the morning. And so that's taking up time. I'm trying to pick up the majority of the housework. So it's like one less thing my husband has to worry about because he did a lot of the housework when we were both working. And I'm also taking on like doing the meals, which I hate. I hate cooking. I think part of what I hate the most is trying to figure out what to cook for supper. I find that really annoying. Like, I would eat the same thing every day. If any of you have watched my vlogs, you know I am the flatbread pizza queen. That is usually my lunch every day. I never get bored of it. I love it. I have no problem eating the same thing every single day if it's something I like. My husband hates to eat the same thing 2 days in a row. So that's not going to work for him. I'm trying to come up with some good ideas because neither one of us eats meat. So trying to come up with meals that have a good balance of protein and veg and, are still interesting and not the same thing every day. So I find that by the time I get going on the day, it's just, I don't have a whole lot of time in there for knitting. And there have been days where I'm just like, you know what, this is not getting done today. I'm just going to sit here and knit. And I think that's probably something I'm going to have to do more often and then just double up on something the next day. I don't know. But other than that, I do feel like I'm starting to get my groove. There's still some other things I want to take on. I'm trying to find time to fit in the Sweet School of Georgia, trying to learn how to spin. But I can't find, when I first was looking through there was a beginner spinning, like right from scratch course. I'm positive there was, but do you think I can find it now? So my job on my list of to-dos today is to go through Sweet Georgia and see if I can find it. And if I can't, I'm just going to email them and say, here's the sitch. And what do you recommend? So there won't be a project diary episode for the Terrazzo sweater. Apologies. But I may just kind of look in my stash of patterns and pick out something that incorporates one of the skills that I had said back in a previous episode. I'll link it up here somewhere. It incorporates one of the skills that I wanted to learn there. And I think that may be the way I go because I think that would be a more interesting progress diary than kind of doing something that, I've done multiple times already and I don't have a problem with it. The point of doing the progress diaries is that project diaries. Oh my God, honestly. Project diaries, the point of that was kind of to learn new skills and show the process. So for the Terrazzo sweater, the new skill was the Italian bind off. I had to pick up the stitches for the neck, which, oh my God, I am so bad at that. And I thought it was going to look hideous, but you know what? It turned out okay. There's no big holes, which I thought there was going to be. I was convinced that there was going to be holes because when I was doing it, and there was much cursing happening while I was doing that. I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, this is going to look so bad. And curse word, curse word, curse word. We got through it. It turned out okay in the end. So I think for the project diaries, maybe what I will do is I may do the Harlow hat. I really want to learn to do brioche. So that might be the next project diary. So all that being said, I hope you guys are knitting up a storm. And what are you guys knitting for the summer? Do you actually kind of go down to lighter weight yarns, smaller projects? How do you guys do that? Because I'm going to be doing a wool sweater because I am a glutton for punishment. I do find that when it starts getting to like mid-July, August, I do seem to gravitate more towards doing smaller projects that aren't going to like overheat me on my lap. But we'll see. We'll see what happens this year because I don't think it's going to take too long to make the fletching sweater because Jessica McDonald's patterns are very well written. I find them very easy to follow. They're usually quick knits. And then once I get the color work done, which even that is pretty simple, it's just body island, sleeve island, and we're good to go. So I don't think that's going to take too long to knit. I just need to I just need to find more knitting time to get it done. So that is what I'm up to. Let me know what you're up to. And until then, I will see you in the next episode, May vlog, and the project diary that will hopefully not get erased this time. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.